So I'm at the end of the plant contest at the Texas Section SRM meeting, and just wanted to go over a few of the plants and how we can determine what they all are and look at the major characteristics. But basically this is how the contest is set up. We have a lot of live plants. They all just come in pots. People bring them from all over the state. The organizers will collect them from any ecoregion they're at and bring them either live like this, or sometimes they have little clippings like this juniper here. But I just kind of want to go through all these, and I'll share this with all the teams so that they can study for future contests. So let's take a closer look here. So we'll start with this one. So here we've got Amphichirus dracunculoides. This is annual. This is common broomweed or annual broomweed. So that's kind of an important wildlife species, but also a little weedy to most people. But generally it's going to be like very small leaves, relatively big yellow flowers, and it's going to be an annual. We have another broomweed that's going to be a perennial that we have later on the contest. So here we've got a big clump of some sort of grass here, and if we look closely we should be able to see some seeds. It is a requirement on this contest that there are some spikelets left, and on this one we've got Big Bluestem. So we've got the big turkey foot seed head with the awns here, and it's got a big red color and just a big bushel of grass from last year's growth. Here we've got a little shrub. This one's going to be Artemisia filifolia, sand sage. This one's common all over the panhandle, and it's a desirable wildlife species as well. So it's got little flowers on it that are just like little sand pebbles, and they look like little gray sand dots. So sand sage, and it's also got a strong smell to it. Next one here, we've got a big viney grass. Got big stolons. This one's going to be vine mesquite, Hopia obtusa. So that's going to be a desirable species for cattle and wildlife. Here we've got just a little sprout, so sometimes they make them tough with little guys here. But this is going to be Celtis pallida, so it's going to be our hackberry. You can tell that it's Celtis because of these big long thorns. Pallida always has these big long thorns on the stem, so that's what makes it Celtis pallida even at this young stage. Oh, and here they have an old one that's got the bigger thorns. So this is Spiny Hackberry. Alright, and that's mostly in South Texas. Here we've got an important one. Loco Weed, Astragalus mollisimus. So this one's got very felty leaves. They're just covered in white felt. So that's and it's not very tall, so it stays pretty short. So that's a cool one. And it's mostly grown all across Texas, but it's got a big taproot that they kind of dug up here. So that's a cool thing to find, big tuber there. But very felty compound leaf that makes it in the Fabaceae family. And it is quite toxic. This one we've got an important invasive species. So I think all the ones we've done so far are native, but this one is going to be our buffle grass, Pennisetum ciliare, or I think it's Centris ciliare now is the new name. But got big nodes. The stem covers, or the leaves sheaths cover the stem pretty much all the way up. And then you've got this little bottle, like a bottle cleaner seed head with very distinct awns, just lots of awns per spikelet here. Looks like a sand burr, like a sticker burr. Here we've got the Threon Aristida. This one's going to be Aristida purpurea. This is a perennial Threon, and you can tell that just because it's perennial and not annual. They've got two on the list. Oligantha is the other one, Oldfield Threon, but this one's perennial and it doesn't branch at the nodes, where Oligantha will be branching at the nodes. And then here we've got one with very few seeds left, but the seeds that are left are very distinct. So this is California cotton top, where each seed is just covered in this cotton felt all around it. So that's a really desirable species. This one's very stemmy, but it's quite desirable for cattle. And those seeds covered in that cotton are extremely distinct. So here we've got a little shrub, just a sapling, and this is going to be Quercus stellata because it's got 5 lobes. So that's our post oak, so baby post oak here. And some of these specimens are tough, and that's kind of the point of the contest. They make them, you can have basically just a stick and a leaf, and that's going to be what you have to guess what it is with. Here we've got a Ratibida columnifera. So this is going to be our upright prairie coneflower, and that's going to be a really cool species, a cool wildflower you can see all across Texas. Another common name would be Mexican hat, because they kind of look like little sombreros when they're in good specimen. This one's a little rough. A lot of these look pretty rough, but that's part of the point. They got to make it difficult to make it a good competition. And we've got yellow Indian grass, very distinct seed head, big yellow feather-like seed head, and then it also has, as I've shown before, the bunny ear auricles at the base of the stem, or base of the leaf. The leaf comes off. Let's see here. We've got a jointing grass here. It's got quite a stolon. And then I think there's a seed down in here. Some seeds. Let's take a look. Oh, maybe not. Oh, there's some right down there. So this is going to be buffalo grass. It doesn't have any hair on the stolon. That's going to be important for differentiating it from common curly mesquite, which has hair. And this buffalo grass has no hair on these nodes. And so I just like to think of a naked buffalo, just a hairless buffalo, because it's hairless on the nodes. So that's a pretty good grass. It's a short grass. Doesn't get much taller than maybe 6 to 8 inches, but very desirable in places that you can't grow much larger grasses. Let's see, we've got an Astragalus here, Astragalus trichotes, the sand lovegrass. It's got a giant seed head relative to its size. So the seed head is going to be more than half of the overall plant size, and that's really distinct. Very tiny seeds, but multiple florets per spikelet because it's an Astragalus. Next up, we've got our juniper. We have 2 on the list. We have ashii and pinchotii, so ash, juniper, and red berry. And on this one, you can tell that it's red berry even without any berries because it has these white gland dots. So red berry will form these. They're just kind of calcium accumulations, but ashii will not form those. Kind of interesting there. So this one's going to be Juniperus pinchotii, red berry juniper. This one's an invasive that I've had in videos before, mostly out in the Trans-Pecos, Astragalus lemaniana. Very small, skinny leaves, kind of this tan brown color, and lots of joints. So that's an important one to know. It takes over desert ecosystems. Here we've got Wooddelia hispida. It's got opposite leaves, which is pretty unique. And then they kind of look diamond-shaped and very felty. And it is a Wooddelia hispida. The common name is orange sexmania. Very rough sandpapery leaves. It's like a sunflower, and it will have a nice orange flower when it opens up, but this one has lost all its flowers for the year. Got eastern Gama Grass right here. This is one of the biggest grasses we have. It's closely related to corn. We've got some of the spikelets down here, so it kind of looks like a corn seed head, but another way to tell that is this giant rhizome down here. Nothing else on our list anyway has a rhizome anywhere like this. Arundodonax, that invasive species, can have similar to rhizomes like this, but they will be even bigger although that's just not on this particular list for the Society for Range Management. But so these rhizomes are very distinct for this one. Just very cool species, and very large leaves, so really wide and very long. They can be up to 6 feet long, just a single blade of grass. And then here we've got a little forb, Mexican sagewort. So this is going to be Artemisia ludoviciana. It's a very nice forb. Has a very strong smell to it, like a sage smell. And the leaf variation can be pretty different. You can have just kind of a diamond shape, or lots of lobes, or lots of teeth. So it kind of can vary all across its range. And it has a really wide range, like Mexico to Canada, all over the western US. But very felty. You can see the white underside, a little darker green on top, but very cool species. All right, so let's keep moving along. So next up, we've got mesquite. We can tell that it's got these Y-shaped leaves. So you can see where the leaf comes off, it's going to branch and then branch twice. So that's going to be our mesquite. Prosopis glandulosa, the new name Neltuma glandulosa, compound leaf, so lots of these leaflets here. So that's going to make it a Fabaceae family, the legume family. And then it's got these big nodes and big thorns on the stem. So it can have single thorns, it can have paired thorns, or it can have no thorns in some cases. All right, next one, we've got some Little Bluestem. We've got lots of these little spikelets everywhere, and they go all the way up and down the stem. So that's a really good species, and you've got this red color as well. So that's a cool one to find. Forms in a big clump. If you pull one of these out, it's going to have a J-hook base because it grows out in a clump every year. So every year it's just going to grow out and out, and so that makes a big curved base that looks like a J. So that's a good species to have, very desirable. Used to be one of the most common species across Texas. Here we have gum Bumelia, Bumelia lanuginosa. It's got spatulate leaves, so they kind of look spoon-like. They get very skinny at the bottom and then get round at the top. And they can have very felty undersides of the leaf, or they can be completely glabrous, which means they have no hair. But this one has lots of thorns on the stem, so that's another factor to see. If you see thorns on the stem, it can be that. And it's kind of got a reddish gray color to the stem. But this is a small shrub across most of Texas. All right, this next one we've got, this one's a kind of a cool species. It's got a very disjunct range. It grows on the coast, and then it grows way up on some sand alkaline sheets up on the other side of Texas. So this one's inland saltgrass, Disticus spicata. And so it's got big clusters of seeds. They are multiple florets per spikelet. You know, they're just stacked on top of each other, so you can see lots of seeds per little spikelet here. So learning your grass terminology is really important for this contest, because it's hard to talk about the grasses without knowing what the terms are that we're trying to describe. So multiple florets per spikelet. It's got a very hard stem near the base. It can have some rhizomes and stolons, and it's very scaly. So you can see kind of the scales here on the rhizomes. If something is scaly, that usually means it grows in sandy environments or alkaline environments. So that can kind of tell you, even seeing the morphology of the plant can tell you about where it's going to grow. So that's pretty cool. So inland saltgrass. Next one here, we've got Rhus aromatica, skunk bush. So this one's a really cool one. It's got little trifoliate leaves, so compound leaf with 3 leaflets, and they always have usually 3 major lobes. So it looks real cool. It's very fuzzy, and they've got these cone-like seed structures. These are the buds of the flowers, and they look like little cones growing on the tips of these stems. So that's a really cool one there. That's Rhus aromatica, skunk bush. Next one is a medicinal plant, yarrow, Achillea millifolia. And this is a really cool one you can find even in alpine environments, like way up in the mountains. But it mostly grows this basal rosette, very millifolia on the Latin name, means like little leaves, and they're very little. You know, the dissections are just tiny, but really long leaves overall. So all this is one leaf with leaflets, but very cool species. These milliform leaves are the main thing that you're going to be looking for, and it will have a big corymbiform white flower, but it's in the Astragalus family. Next one is going to be Simpsia calva. This is awnless bush sunflower, similar to our Wedelia, except that this one looks more like a spade, like on a card. This one like card suits. This one will look more like a spade, and Wedelia will look more like a diamond. This one's in pretty rough shape. It might have looked a little better when they had the contest earlier, but it will also have little orange flowers and very rough leaves as well. And it can have these little auricles on the leaf, so it can have these little leaflets coming off where the leaf starts. So that's an important factor as well. Here we have Lote Bush, Condaliopsis, obtusifolia, or Ziziphus obtusifolia is the old name. This one, every single stem, like every single stick branch, is a thorn. So that's going to be important. And it's very white, gray, and then these little leaves are usually kind of lobed, just slightly. But this one has very blue berries when it does have berries, and it's just covered in thorns. It's a small shrub that you can find in central and north Texas. And it's a really good one, especially for quail habitat, because they like the berries and they also like to hide in it, to hide from predators. They come hide under these shrubby, thorny bushes. Next one we've got Grindelia squarosa. So this one is pretty cool, curly cup gumweed. So a curly cup because these little phyllaries at the bottom of the flower are very curly, and then it's gumweed because it's got this very sticky sap all over it, and it's got a cool little flower head here. It's in the Astragalus family. But if you look closely at the leaves, they're going to be very uniquely lobed and glandular. You can see all these white dots all over the stem, so that's going to be important to look out for. It's another perennial, and then it's got these distinct teeth that form around the leaf, so that's something to look out for as well. You can tell this one just from a baby sapling out of a seed because of these unique sawtoothed leaves. And one of the last ones we'll look at here is going to be Hilaria mutica. So this is Tobosa grass. We've got a stacked seed head here. You can see all these seeds just stacking on top of each other. It's very feather-like, and then it's got a bit of a crankshaft stem when the leaves fall off. So that's something to look out for. And this one's going to be a bit taller than our Hilaria belandrii, or common curly mesquite. It's very similar. It's just going to be a short grass. This one's going to be a little more of a mid-grass and grows out in the desert. And you'll see that it has more rhizomes, where Hilaria belandrii has more stolons. So that's kind of another difference to look out for there. Just wrap this up here. We've got Astragalus curvula. This one's weeping lovegrass. These crazy long leaves are something to look out for. They're unmistakable when you find a big clump of it out in the wild. These can be 5-6 feet long in some cases, and it's got a big seed head right here with tiny seeds. This one is an introduced invasive species of Astragalus, so weeping lovegrass. Got the green springletop here. We talked about that one already. I won't go too into it, but got the stacked green seeds. And last one here, Bothriocloa lageroides, silver bluestem. So a little different than the common, or the California cotton top, because you can't see the specific seeds. Like, it's not a big round seed with cotton around it. This one, the whole seed head is just really fuzzy. Alright, we've got a grama here. This one is black grama, mostly grown out in West Texas. You can also find it occasionally in the Panhandle, but this is a really cool one. If you look at the stems, it's very stoloniferous, so there's lots of branching going on the stolons. But if you look at the stems, it goes fuzzy slick. So you can see that the stem of the plant here will be fuzzy, and then the leaf sheath on the next piece will be slick, and then looking down, fuzzy, slick, and it just continues that pattern all over the plant. So that's a really cool one. And then it is a grama, so it has those eyelash seed heads, very wimpy eyelashes, very small compared to like our blue grama. Okay, and I think that's about it. Oh, there's one more here. We've got the Heteropogon contortus tanglehead. So this one is important. It's an aggressive native, so it can kind of take over in South Texas, but it is native. And it looks like a big braid on the seed head, and then it's got all these big long awns. And so that's an important thing to look out for. These black awns will curl up and they can get stuck in animals' fur, but overall, if you manage this grass correctly, it can be very desirable forage species. And I think this is going to be our last one right here. We've got this beautiful purple flower. This one's going to be our Liatris punctata, our dotted gay feather, or blazing star is another name for it. So we've got a basal one growing right here. This one has a big comb, like a big round tuber under the ground here, and it has these just amazing, beautiful purple flowers, just a big cluster going up. This is also in the Asteraceae family, but it's in its own tribe, the Eupatori tribe, Liatris punctata. So this is just a little glimpse into the contest. One more, sorry. And this one is going to be these lots of little leaves all over the place here, just filiform leaves. We've got nice little flowers, and if you look close, you should see some stacked, right here, you can see some stacked phyllaries that look like little picket fences. So this is our Senecio flaccidus. This one's also toxic, but an important species to know across Texas. So this is Senecio flaccidus, which, anyway, this one's also another important species. So this is just a glimpse into the contest here, and hopefully you got a little bit out of it. And they work really hard to make sure that they know all the species on this contest, and all the organizers work real hard to bring all this together and put on a good show for the students, and it's a great learning opportunity. So I highly recommend getting involved or just learning more about it, and I'll keep sharing about it. See you next time.